Can he do it again? Mike Bibby. Bibby stops, pops, there it is! Bibby, the hero, again! A back-to-back nights! Oh, boy!
Back low, stolen by Bibby. Ahead to Martin, to the rim. And the Sacramento Kings have won!
Cousins. Full head of steam, look out, blow! Oh, if you go like that, you don't like NBA basketball.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to this episode of the Kings Court Podcast with me, Vincent here for SacKingsNation.com. As you guys heard, that's a new intro, and that new intro is the courtesy of DLX Revolution and, of course, our guest today. You guys have seen his work countless times, although you haven't seen him or heard him on the show before. He is finally joining us. It's the video editor of the Kings Court, Marley Silverbrand. What's going on, Marley?
I'm doing all right. I've always wanted to say this on a sports show, but you've got to give the people what they want.
You got to give the people. Give the people what they want.
Okay.
All right, you did it. You feel better?
Yep, I feel a lot better.
Yep.
And Jalen Rose, here's that check.
Jalen, you're going to be on our soundboard. Just throwing that out there. We need to have him on our soundboard. Guys, we're getting the soundboard.
Show.
If we can get Jalen Rose on the show just to talk about Chris Webber and their beef, that would be amazing.
That would, I would love that.
All right, guys, we have a lot of topics that we have to get onto this show. We're going to talk about the Golden State Warriors. They becoming finals. I know this is the Kings Court Podcast, but we love the NBA too, and we're going to talk about the finals just for a little bit because from the Golden Boys to the Golden Arena, Golden One Arena, the new name, we're going to talk about that a little bit. From there, we're going to talk about Ty Lawson, the trade rumors, which will lead us a little bit into the NBA draft because we will be at the draft party. At least I will be. Marley probably won't be. But I will be there. If we have the T-shirts, I'll be giving them away. We'll sell them $18. We'll talk about the T-shirts even a little bit more on the show as well. And to round out the show, we're going to answer all of your fan questions. So, let's start off with topic number one, Marley. Let's talk about this NBA Finals. Me and you were messaging back and forth throughout this entire Finals. You were calling scores left and right. You were calling series left and right. I have a question to ask you, though. After watching this series play out, after seeing LeBron and the Cavs take a 2-1 lead over the Warriors, if the Cavs just had Kyrie Irving or just had Kevin Love, does this series, does this Finals have a different outcome?
I think it has a completely different outcome. I think it would have gone 7 games, and it would have been a toss-up on whether the Cavs win in 7 or the Warriors win in 7. Even if they just had Kyrie or Kevin Love. But the reason why I said in 6 is just because Kyrie wasn't all that healthy, and LeBron can't really do it all himself. But if LeBron did it all himself, he would have gone to a whole nother level of like stardom, like NBA stardom. Like I was watching like Game 6 actually with a buddy of mine, and like when LeBron played the entire Game 6, and if he pulled that out and pushed to a Game 7, like he would have like we totally agreed that he would have like a whole new level of stardom. Like there would be like no stopping LeBron James if he pulled that out, but he didn't. No one could stop Steph Curry, and yeah.
And that's what it really came down to is depth. Like you said, he had no help. I mean, J.R. Smith. If J.R. Smith hit some shots, there could have been a difference. Because I mean, honestly, if you look at the stats,
isn't that whatever team J.R. Smith plays for, that always comes down to that. If J.R. Smith can play,
he can play.
If J.R. Smith
is inconsistent.
Yeah, he's totally inconsistent.
But
he
did put some shots out there. He did put shots out there in Game 6.
Yeah.
He almost made that. I thought they were going to make a little bit of a comeback.
But it was almost too little too late.
Or better yet, don't call it a comeback. Because they couldn't do it. They couldn't do it.
Yeah.
But it was fun. It was overall though, grade it on I guess 5 stars here on this finals. How entertained with you? 5 being like you would love to watch this series all over again. 4 being like it was fun to watch, just like another series. 3, it was kind of boring, but I mean, I had to watch it because it was the NBA. 2, I wish there were different players in it, and 1 being I didn't even pay attention.
I think like it's kind of tough to grade like these finals just because I would love to watch like another series of this where like every single player on the Cavs were healthy, and it was just both teams were 100% healthy and they're just going at each other. But since they were one team was unhealthy, it just felt like the Warriors was just taking advantage of that like 110%. So I'd have to to grade this series, I'd have to grade it like a 3 or a 3.5. But like I would totally grade like a healthy Cavs team and a healthy Warriors team like a 5 out of 5. It would be like the best, probably one of the best like NBA Finals like ever. If that was like, just think about that. Have like Kevin Love, Kyrie Irving, LeBron James, and Steph Curry, Andre Iguodala, Klay Thompson. That would be just amazing matchups. Like I don't know.
I give the series a 4. I mean, I was very entertained, mainly due to like the storylines that were in between it. I mean, Andre Iguodala, I personally don't think he is the Finals MVP. I think he should have finished 3rd and just know that he was a contributor. I still think Steph is the MVP in the Finals as well. But I mean, that's up for debate. You guys can leave your comments in the comment section below and let me know if you agree or disagree. But I give it a 4 just because of the storylines. I mean, Andre Iguodala rides the bench the entire time, gets his number called. The tallest player on the court when they do that starting 5 of Green, Barnes, Iggy, Steph, and Thompson is Harrison Barnes, and he's the small forward. So, I mean, that's cool that his numbers were called. They stepped up. I like that LeBron James, if he could have done it, the fact that he got them up 2-1, and he did it by himself. I thought that was just awesome to watch. But at the same time, I don't think it was the 5. Like, I was more entertained by the Spurs and the Heat, like, last year. So, I mean, that's kind of where it is for me. It's like I want to see something that's going to come down to the very line. And even if it was a Game 6 and it came down to the wire, it still wouldn't have been the best just because, like you said, I wanted to see a healthy team. But if they would have got to a Game 7 with all these storylines, that's where I would have been like, this is one of the best finals you've ever seen.
Like, if LeBron James pushed to a Game 7, like, by himself, and he played...
Exactly.
And he played, like 48 minutes for both games. Like, there's no question if someone was saying, "Oh, I don't know if LeBron James is the best player." I'm like, those people are insane.
Yeah,
those people are insane because there's no question that LeBron James is better than Michael Jordan, and just like if that happened.
But it did, and Michael Jordan's still the GOAT.
Yeah.
All right, guys. From the Golden Boys to the new Golden One Arena, the Kings just named their new downtown arena. Golden One Center. Golden One Arena. It's what
Golden One Arena. I will agree with you. That sounds better.
Golden One Center. It just sounds better with Golden One Arena. But okay, you're right. Golden One Center. They named the new arena that's going to be in downtown. I mean, it's better than Sleep Train, I guess, but I mean, I guess it's really not that big of a deal. It's just a name. Hopefully, with a Golden One Credit Union, the team can actually be credible. Is that a little pun? Is that a bad?
That's pretty bad.
But I mean, they've been a bad team. They've been a bad team, so I'm hoping this, they can get some credit and get some.
Or then maybe they could just
money.
be fraudulent and just.
I mean, how much they keep saying they want to be just like the Warriors, you never know. It's fine. We're gonna cut that part out.
No, they want to be like a jazz team, or
a jazz band. Yeah.
Yeah, and play 4 and 5 defense.
But now that
which I think that is just thrown out the window.
Yeah, it's all good. This is a new era, new time. So
new two eras in like 2 seasons.
I know it's different because we were in the Michael Malone, Pete D'Alessandro, Vivek era. Now we're in the Vivek, Vlade Divac, George Karl era. And since we're talking about coaches and all that stuff, which is like a perfect segue into what we're going to next, because I said we're just going to hit on that a little bit. Now we're going to the big things.
Well, we didn't really I guess we talked a little bit about Golden One Center.
I mean, do you have any thoughts on it? Because I mean, honestly, it's just a name. It's a name of arena.
It is just a name, but like it's kind of like if the numbers were kind of like about how much Golden One paid for like the naming rights. They were kind of like when they first announced it, the numbers were everywhere. But I should have pulled up those.
It's 4 years for $120 million.
That is kind of that's huge for a local Sacramento like business, like that's kind of huge numbers for something like what that
magnitude in a small Sacramento city. I don't know, I guess, but if you're Golden One, that's an investment that you're putting into something that they really feel is like strong enough for the future, and you get to have your name on a building for the next. Or sorry, it's 20 years. I think it was 20 years. It's the next 2 decades. So it's 20 years at $120 million. Sorry,
yeah.
I don't know why I said 4 years. It's the next 2 decades that they're over it. Because I wrote about it. It's on the site. That's what I'm looking at right now. For some reason, I said 4.
So what does on the side it says $120 million over 20 years or $120 million for 20 years?
20 years.
Is it because those are two completely different things?
What
I was reading.
It was a very lucrative deal. Let's just put it that way. Like it was a fair deal for both ends. I just know that for the next. I just remember writing. I'm pulling up my site right now so I can get the complete numbers because when I wrote about it, I had to get the stats correct.
Well, I read it off of like News 10.
Yeah,
and
so I was right. It's they're together for 20 years at $120 million for the naming rights. So that's actually such a fair deal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And I think they probably got like the hometown discount too.
Yeah, and the fact that Golden One, although they're like known, they're not like as big as let's say other bank companies. So I mean, they're like,
and I didn't know.
They're
I
getting
thought they
stronger,
were
bigger together.
This has just become a Golden One advertisement, but I had no idea that they were like. I thought they were just like a credit union, like where they loan out money, but they're like a bank too.
Yeah,
they have like accounts.
They're a legitimate bank. There are a lot out here in Sacramento.
Okay.
But all right, let's go ahead and move on to the next topic here. We're going to talk about the Ty Lawson rumors because that's what everyone really wants to hear about. So you have now Pete D'Alessandro and former head coach Michael Malone teaming up in Denver, which that scenario itself should be its own podcast because now they're buddy-buddy. Now it don't matter like what.
That's not the like we shouldn't say that they're buddy-buddy because they were hired at different times.
But everything that came out was Pete got him fired. Pete wanted him gone. Pete wanted his new guy in. And now Adrian Wojnarowski comes out and says, no, it was actually Vivek. Vivek strong-armed him. And now they're teamed up in Denver. And now these Lawson, Kenneth Faried for Cousins rumors are swirling like crazy. Maybe just Lawson for the 6th pick. We took a poll on SacKingsNation.com. 74% of you guys, 72% of you guys said no, you guys would not do that trade. It's one of those things where I'm interested in seeing what would happen. I am a huge DeMarcus Cousins fan. I do not want to see DeMarcus Cousins in another team uniform. But at the same time, as devil's advocate over here, 7th pick, Ty Lawson, Kenneth Faried, and maybe Wilson Chandler. And then you give up DeMarcus Cousins, Jason Thompson, Nik Stauskas, and Ray McCallum. I want to keep. I want 6 and 7. I have to have 6
I don't
and
think
second
you give up. The Kings would trade Nik Stauskas just yet. He's only had one full season, not even a full season, and he didn't really have like.
I like Nik Stauskas.
The chance to prove himself, and I think. I think Stauskas is here until February.
To see what he can do.
Like by the trade deadline. If he's not proving himself by the trade deadline, then he's gone. I'm
saying let's say if they can keep Darren Collison, which is a very big if, but in the trade scenario that I'm throwing out there, you do Jason Thompson, and I didn't use the trade machine, I didn't look at salary, so you guys can judge me on it if you want to, but I'm just saying this is the
ESPN trade machine.
Yeah, I didn't use it to get this trade, but this is just one off the top of my head. You use DeMarcus Cousins, who is by far worth just Ty Lawson and Kenneth Faried by itself. You throw in Jason Thompson, you throw in Ray McCallum, you throw in Nik Stauskas, so you can get both Faried and Lawson, and their 7th pick and one more of their players. So they have nice players in Denver. They just don't have the right gel pieces. Maybe you can go after like a Will Barton, or, I mean, maybe they're willing to give up Wilson Chandler, but that's like a big if. Use the stretch provision on Carl Landry. You can have a little bit more cap room there when you go into free agency, but then you draft, I mean, let's say Willie Cauley-Stein, and for the hell of it, we'll go with Emmanuel Mudiay, you know?
Okay, this is the kind of the scenario I'm kind of thinking in my head. I don't mean to interrupt, but if Willie Cauley-Stein and Emmanuel Mudiay both slide to 6 and 7, and no one picks them at 1 through 5, like, would you like drafting Emmanuel Mudiay at 6, and then at 7 have wait, hold on. Denver's picking at 7, right?
Yes.
Okay, and then Denver drafts Willie Cauley-Stein, and that's when we trade. And then we keep Emmanuel Mudiay, Willie Cauley-Stein, and then DeMarcus Cousins goes to Denver with Jason Thompson, Darren Collison, and we get Ty Lawson, Kenneth Freed, and then Wilson Chandler.
You have to give up more because Wilson Chandler, I mean, although he's not like the most expensive player, he has a contract. And I mean, the Kings want to get rid of Jason Thompson's contract, so JT has to be in the deal. As much I want to keep Darren Collison. Darren Collison was so underrated last season just because he got injured. You know, he was.
Yeah, I like
defensively alone, having him come off the bench, or even having them doing a small ball lineup. Because I mean, even George Karl says it where point guards are basically the ones riding the team now. So if you have Darren Collison and Ty Lawson on the court together, that's defense and offense all in one package.
What about if we do trade Darren Collison for Ty Lawson? What about Ty Lawson and Lou Williams?
That would be fun. That would be a lot of offense. That would be a lot. But I don't know. At the same time, like, who's going to be the one that gives up the ball the most?
Or forget about Ty Lawson. Don't trade Darren Collison and Darren Collison and Lou Williams. I actually kind of like that better.
I would rather have Wesley Matthews, though. If they're going to throw any money around, I would rather have a coming back from injury Wesley Matthews than a first-time Sixth Man of the Year in Lou Williams. That's just personally me. And I want to know what your guys' thoughts are. Wesley Matthews or Lou Williams, who would you rather have the Kings go after in free agency? Leave your guys' comments in the comment section below. And also leave your guys' trade scenarios down there in the comment section below. So let me know.
I think, going on Wesley Matthews, I think Wesley Matthews might actually be, would be cheaper because he is coming off of an injury. And you said Lou Williams is coming off a Sixth Man of the Year. Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Wesley Matthews would be a lot safer and cheaper pick, but I think Lou Williams would just be awesome coming off the bench. But also, if we did pick up Lou Williams, we would just get a bunch of hate from the media about the Kings always drafting bench players, or not drafting, signing bench players and turning them to starters. And I don't know. I hate the criticism on Darren Collison saying that he should come off the bench and it's crazy for the Kings to send away Isaiah Thomas and then get Darren Collison and have him start for him because Darren Collison doesn't start. But they forget that Darren Collison started for Indiana and he actually played really well for Indiana, but that was before he got injured.
Like I said, I'll stand by that. I like Darren Collison. I would rather have him stay in Sacramento. Ty Lawson, I don't want to say he's far better than Darren Collison because of what he did, but he's just a constant double threat every night. So
he also has an attitude problem, which despite
he loves playing for George Karl. That's the thing, and George Karl loves him on his team.
True, but despite Cousins, I know Cousins has fixed his attitude, but I still think it needs a little bit of work. You don't need 2 loose cannons on the team because that just kind of I feel like that would be bad news.
I will counter that with KG, Paul Pierce, Ray Allen, and Rondo. I mean, they made it work. So if they start winning,
They've also
winning,
been in the league a while.
yeah, but I mean, Rondo wasn't. Rondo was their little brother.
Yeah, true.
So I mean, if you think about it like that, it's like if winning happens, winning changes everybody's attitude. So as long as they're winning, they'd be fine. So that you would just be hoping and banking that they stay winning. I know what you mean, though. Two loose cannons, someone's gonna shoot, the other one's gonna fire back. So it'll be weird. But
which I feel like when I keep bringing this up, I feel like people are gonna think that I'm against the Ty Lawson trade. I'm not against getting Ty Lawson. I think Ty Lawson would be an amazing pickup. But I'm just going through like the negatives of what would happen if we picked up Ty Lawson. But yeah, that's just what I'm saying. I think it would be amazing if Ty Lawson was in a Kings uniform and we traded the 6th pick and we didn't get Willie Cauley-Stein or Emmanuel Mudiay. But
okay, so I'm just gonna go with a yes or no answer, or buy or sell, or however you're gonna do it, before we move on to this next topic here. Okay, so
yeah.
Do you buy or sell the fact that do you think DeMarcus Cousins will be in a Sacramento Kings uniform come the first game of the season?
He will be in a Kings uniform.
He will be. You say yes.
Yes. I think you don't. He will be in a Kings uniform at least for one more season. Like, if he's... I would hate to say this, and I'd hate to see him out of a Kings uniform too, but, like, it will depend on, like, how well we do this season if he's in a Kings uniform next season, like, in the new arena. I think that would be really heartbreaking for Kings fans, but if we have, like, another below 500 season, which I don't think we will, I think if we pick up the right pieces in the offseason, we might actually be like 10 games over 500, or maybe five games over 500. Like, but if we're below 500, I think DeMarcus is probably going to ask to be traded out. I would hate to see that day come, which is why I'm pushing for 5 games over 500, which I think he would stay for that. But if there's another losing season, he doesn't want to stay.
All right, so I guess my turn to answer my own question. And, oh man, as much as I love DeMarcus Boogie Cousins, I want him to be on this Kings team so bad, but I have him not on the roster come opening night, and that sucks. Because, like I said, I'm a huge Cousins fan, but it's just like the Lawson rumors has been there since February, and the report of George Karl not minding moving DeMarcus Cousins out is out there. The beef between Karl and Cousins is still somewhat out there.
That means nothing.
It might not mean anything. It might not mean anything, or it might mean something. So it's like, I'm gonna lean towards more of a no. He's not gonna be, and if he's still on the Kings, I'd love it. But if he isn't on the Kings, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. So I'm gonna go with a no.
To be honest, I don't think, like, the reason why I say one more season is because Karl hasn't really seen, like, he's seen, like, Cousins play, like, when he wasn't the coach, but like, Karl was there for, like, 30 games. And, like, you can't really, like, judge, like, a player off 30 games. And I don't think Karl really has much of a say right now. I think it's really just Vlade. And Vlade has come out and said that he, like, I think that, I can't really remember the quote, but, didn't he say something like DeMarcus Cousins is untradeable or something like that?
Yeah, he's a player that's almost untradeable, but then I can counter that with George Karl said that he's never coached a player that's untradeable.
But Vlade is obviously running the show right now.
Yeah.
Like that's been known, and I think that George Karl, by the end of this upcoming season, he's going to have more of a say. And if he doesn't want Cousins, then then they'll trade him out. But since he was only there for like 30 games, like I have a feeling Cousins is going to be in a Kings uniform. I think you'll be safe and see your favorite player like in a Kings uniform this season.
All right, guys,
you are listening. Sure.
All right, guys, you are listening to the Kings Court with me, Marley, Silverbrand, and Vince Miracle. The Kings Court is sponsored by The Quality Shop. For quality clothes at a quality price, be sure to go to The Quality Shop located in downtown Roseville. The show is also sponsored by Brickhouse Industries. Go on brickhouseindustriescom. Use the promo code Kings Court. Again, use the promo code Kings Court and get a discount on us. There's a lot of tanks up there during the summer season, a lot of T-shirts, some board shorts, everything like that, hats, everything, the apparel that you want to wear is on that site. And you can even check out some of their stuff at The Quality Shop located in downtown Roseville. Again, use the promo code Kings Court, or you just go into The Quality Shop, say you heard about them from here, the Kings Court, and you'll get a discount on us. All right, so now we're going to be moving on to the NBA draft, because, I mean, we're talking about draft picks during this whole Ty Lawson, DeMarcus Cousins, Kenneth Faried trade, right? So the Kings are either going to be drafting 6, they're either going to be drafting 7, or they're going to be drafting both. And with the draft, today's Father's Day. Happy Father's Day again to everyone. Literally is only 4 days away. Like I said, I'm going to be there at Firestone with a couple cameras. Maybe you guys can get on the show by just, saying something to the camera. I'll get you guys' analysis, who you guys think you're going to pick with my camera there. So be sure to look out for me. If I have T-shirts, like I said, I'll be selling them out there. I don't know if they'll be in by that time.
And
so, Marley, I want to ask you.
Yeah.
Go ahead. What were you going to say?
Well, I just was going to make a little joke, and please don't say a little something into the camera. No Tommy Boy references.
Marley, let me ask you this, buddy. Let me ask you this.
That's horrible.
Let me ask you this.
Go ahead.
Who do you want the Kings to draft? Let's just say they keep the 6th pick. So let's just overlook the whole 6-7 thing, because I want the Kings to have both picks if they're trading away Cousins. But that's, again, null and void. We only get to keep the 6th pick.
Okay.
The draft is 4 days away. Who is your final? And I might do a show. I might do a side show, my own little podcast. I didn't tell you this yet. I'm telling you now. I might do like one more podcast on Wednesday, just to really talk about it one more time and have the final pick in there if my mind changes. But as of today, as of right now, if you had to choose one player that you really want the Kings to draft at number 6, who is it?
Okay. I would like to preface this with just that I haven't really been keeping up with workouts and stuff like that. To be honest, I really don't like watching the NBA draft, but I just watch it because the Kings are in it. But from what I've been reading and what you've been telling me and stuff like that, and from some of the footage that I've watched, I wouldn't mind picking up like an Emmanuel Mudiay, to be honest, at number 6. To be honest, I think Emmanuel Mudiay might be the best guy in this draft.
The best guy in the draft.
I think that's a little bit bold for me to say, even though, which is why I prefaced that with that I haven't watched like all the workout videos and stuff like that,
right?
And read like about all the players in the draft. But I think Emmanuel Mudiay might be actually kind of a nice pickup. But if you want my personal opinion, I think we should just trade that pick. Like I've been saying that since the beginning, since we got the 6th pick.
And I've been on that same train. I've been on the same thing. I think the Kings should just trade out of that pick.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so your final choice, let me just make it 100% clear, is to take Emmanuel Mudiay.
Yeah. But that's just that's totally like a wild guess too, and that's based on like who they worked out and stuff like that. But I would also like a Cameron Payne. I think Cameron Payne would also be a really nice pickup too. Like if we couldn't get Ty Lawson, Cameron Payne would be a nice replacement for that. But
okay, so I'm gonna answer this question. Before I answer this question, I'm gonna go off on a little bit of I wouldn't say a rant, but just some facts I'm gonna throw out there. Not really necessarily facts, but some predictions that we see out there, especially with how much this Emmanuel Mudiay, Willie Cauley-Stein stuff has been coming up. at number 6, and I feel like, personally, I'm a huge Justice Winslow fan. I really do not like the fact that Justice Winslow is not in the more conversations for the Kings at 6, because I absolutely love Justice Winslow. But that's not the point. So, for Willie Cauley-Stein, there could be possibly averages of 13, 10, and 2.5 blocks. So it's 13 points, 10 rebounds, 2.5 blocks right away. And that's from James Ham. He says Willie Cauley-Stein he'll be the perfect fit. But who is he? Maybe he can average 13, 10, and 2.5 blocks for a decade, but maybe less. That's what he responded to someone saying that the Kings should get, Willie Cauley-Stein. He said he already looks NBA ready, can play 28 minutes in year 1, right?
Yeah.
Then he said, but he kind of still leaning more towards Emmanuel Mudiay. He said, I don't know what the question was, but he says, I don't disagree with you. But would you take 28 and 5 from Emmanuel Mudiay alongside Cousins in year 3? He has that type of potential. That's how tough this decision is. 20 points, 8 assists, 5 rebounds. He has that type of potential in year 3.
See, that's what sounds really nice about Emmanuel Mudiay whenever I read about that stuff. Just because I feel like that could have been Elfrid Payton, for us last year.
And I was the one shooting up Elfrid Payton. If I watched the videos, I was the one advocating the Kings should go after him.
I was so heartbroken when we didn't pick up Elfrid Payton. How do you go? Well, I know why you would go for Stauskas instead of because it was all Vivek Ranadive, or Ronadive, as Bill Simmons calls him, Vivek Ronadive. But how do you not go for potential all-star point guard and you go for Stauskas? But
because the team needed shooting.
Yeah.
And you had Pete D'Alessandro, who has looked like a yes man. So I mean,
he was totally a yes man.
And no one said anything. But when that Cowbell Kingdom podcast came out and said and I watched that video again after listening to that podcast. Mm-hmm. You saw it right away, and I brought it up with Tony. Yeah, the Grantland video, and I brought it up with Tony on the last episode, and he was like, "Yeah, it's bad. It was bad on that one. You can just see he was a yes man." So that's why they drafted Nik Stauskas.
Which is why I think James Ham actually brought this up, in that Pete D'Alessandro video or the podcast, and he brought this up, saying that that's why Vivek Ranadive brought in Vlade Divac, because you don't really step on Vlade Divac's foot in Sacramento town, just because if you step in front of Vlade Divac and you either fire him or just tell him that he's wrong in Sacramento, then you basically you're done. You might as well just sell the team to someone else in Sacramento, because the Kings fans love Vlade Divac. That's what I'm trying to say. So that's this is the season where Vivek Ranadive just fades to the back, and it's Vlade's team, and it's Ronadive's wallet.
We'll see. Like I said, there's so much talk about Mario Hezonja too. So I mean, I'm gonna name out a name right now that I think the Kings are gonna draft, that I think that they really want to draft, and who I would not mind seeing on this Kings team. And it's not Emmanuel Mudiay. As much as I want it to be Justice Winslow, it's not him either. It's going to be Willie Cauley-Stein. That's who they're gonna draft.
Okay. Can I add a few more points? I don't mean to step on your toes, but
go for it.
I think you draft Emmanuel Mudiay if
the trade happens.
You draft you draft Emmanuel Mudiay if the trade happens, but I got this all flipped. I'm thinking, if the trade happens, you draft Willie Cauley-Stein, because then you got the point guard Ty Lawson in the deal. But if you don't, if the deal is off the table, then I think you draft Emmanuel Mudiay, just because then you have a solid like all-star point guard in Emmanuel Mudiay. That's just my opinion.
I mean, I know what you're saying. You're saying, like, well, if the Kings are going to get a point guard, get Willie Cauley-Stein and get something else, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or if it's not going to happen, at least get the point guard that you've been desperately needing in Emmanuel Mudiay. And then I know the counterpart of what we're going to see in the comment section is Willie Cauley-Stein at 6, if he's there, that could be the perfect fit. I mean, he doesn't demand the ball offensively, should block shots, he's a complete rim protector, all that stuff. I get it. I know why they want him. Again, I'm not high on him at 6, but I mean, if that's what the Kings want to go for, I think at 6, it's one of those things where you have to take best player available. So like I said, I get both sides of it. I get the rim protecting, all that stuff from Willie Cauley-Stein. But like I said, keep saying, at 6, you have to take best player available. If Emmanuel Mudiay is on the table, I agree with you. He has to be taken. But if I had to make a choice of who I think the Kings are going to draft, I think they're going to draft Willie Cauley-Stein.
I think that makes sense, but I think that only makes sense, like I said, if Ty Lawson is in that trade, and we're going to get Ty Lawson in the 7th pick and stuff, something like that. Like if a point guard is guaranteed from Denver, then we're drafting Willie Cauley-Stein. But if it's not guaranteed and that trade is done, like that trade's off the table, then I can see like Emmanuel Mudiay or Cameron Payne. But I would like to see Emmanuel Mudiay, to be honest.
If the trade happens, I say they get Willie Cauley-Stein at 7. They'll take Mario Hezonja at 6. Because they're going to give up Nik Stauskas in that trade to get Ty Lawson and Kenneth Faried.
See, I don't think that they would give up Nik Stauskas.
If they can get Mario Hezonja, I think they would. Personally, that's my personal opinion. Like I said, I want to hear all your guys' opinions. Leave your guys' comments in the comment section below because we have to go into these fan questions because the show's running out of time. So let's go ahead and go into fan questions here. If you guys have a question that you want to get on the show, you can email your questions into kingscourtpodcast@gmail.com, or you guys can tweet either me, Marley, or the show at SKN Articles, myself at VM Center, and for Marley it's M Silverbrand. So you can even see it right there.
In the video.
Yeah, they're right there on the tag page right there. Also, guys, the Kings Court and SacKingsNation.com has joined Patreon.com. Now, what Patreon is, for those who don't know, is a monthly donation.
Hey, Vince, what's Patreon.com? What's Patreon.com? But I love the Kings Court, and how do I help you guys out?
Well, let me tell you, Marley. Basically, what Patreon is kind of like a Kickstarter campaign. But instead of being a one-time donation, it's a monthly donation, and we're looking for quarters, dollars, $5, anything you guys can do to help us out. We're looking to raise money to get new equipment to produce better and more productive content for you guys, the fans of the Kings Court, the fans at SacKingsNation.com to have. Now, what we're willing to do in return of all that, if we get to these certain markers that you'll see if you go on the Patreon campaign page, is we're willing to produce a brand new show for you guys. Willing to start streaming the show live like it used to be. Because when we streamed it live before, how often did you guys see, a fluttery, like me breaking in and out while talking, the audio not sounding very good, so we want to do live shows for sure. We want to go and do live spots at different locations, and we want to start getting players and coaches on the show. And the only way we can do that is with your guys' help. So that's why the Brickhouse Industries has made those T-shirts for us. They're going to be sold for $18. You can either make the order on BrickHouseIndustries.com. They're going to have it on their page as soon as it gets shipped in, or you can email me at kingscourtpodcast@gmail.com. I'll set up the PayPal for you guys to start paying it to, and we'll ship it off to you guys from there. So definitely, you guys, go check out our Patreon campaign. We're just looking for $1 here, $1 there, and it just really helps us out.
What do I get in return? Like, say I donated $1, what do I get?
I mean, like I said, we're going to start producing new shows for you guys. But at the same time, I mean, if you donate $1, me and Marley, we talk about how the show is made, how we start prepping shows. We go off on little tangents when we talk about ourselves when we're prepping this stuff alone. That's our bonus content for you guys. There's even stuff on there where we're recording and I'm looking for a cup of coffee and orange juice, and I'm so disappointed that there is no coffee or orange juice in my house. So there's definitely fun stuff that there's going to be on there. Like I said, there's so many little things. You guys just go on our Patreon page, look and see what you guys can get for just donating the little things. As soon as the winter time comes, if you guys donate up to that $20 mark, I think it's $25 mark, we're actually going to start giving away the Sac Kings Nation sweaters. They look just like the T-shirts, but they're going to be on purple and black sweaters instead. They're really, really cool. Again, you guys, go check out our Patreon campaign. Help us out, make this show better. And because, this show is just, basically Kings fans for you guys to get great content. We want to be the best Kings show out there, and the only way we can do that, like I said, is with your guys' help. So go ahead and click on the Patreon link in the description below and help us out as much as you can. As we move on to our fan questions. Question number 1 from Jasmine Alexander. Nik improved his shooting. So speaking of Nik Stauskas so much on the show, let's keep on going with Nik Stauskas. Nik improved his shooting. Sauce Castillo. Nik improved his shooting. Who can we give the credit to, Andre Miller or George Karl? Because Andre made D. Will look a lot better stat sheet-wise. All right, Marley, do you want me to answer this one first, or do you want to go ahead and just take it on?
Well, first of all, I'll take it on for the first part. Andre Miller didn't make D. Will look better. D-League players made D. Will look better, to be honest. And then I don't think Sauce Castillo looked better with George Karl. I think it was obvious that it's another answer again with the D-League players. They played better.
Bang, Marley shooting guns right now, just taking shots at both D. Will and Nik Stauskas.
Sauce Castillo. That's his name now.
I'm not gonna call him that. I don't like that.
but yeah, what do you think? Do you think that's fair enough?
That's a fair thing, although that is bang bang shots fired.
Totally is shots fired, but still.
But at the same time, you have to give the credit to George Karl because it's the system, it's the up down. Although you say on the question, Jasmine, that D. Will stat sheet wise looked better. The only thing that looked better was maybe his shooting percentage and his points. The fact that George Karl, the
energy looked better under George Karl's system.
Well, yeah, because all they had to do was run up and down the court and dunk the ball, and then he'd get an open look for a shot. So this is what I'm saying. The fact that although you're scoring points and you're shooting a better field goal percentage, blah, 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 Andre Miller is just on the court with him because they both come off the bench, right? So that's number one. That's the only reason why you can make that. I personally think you can make that thing. Make that Andre Miller, George Karl credit to, right? It's all on George Karl. But the fact that George Karl comes out in a press conference and says a soda machine gets more rebounds than Derek Williams makes you know that stat sheet-wise, he was not that much better. He had a couple nice games, don't get me wrong, and he scored the ball a lot better under George Karl. But I don't give that credit to Andre Miller at all whatsoever. But that's my stance on it. You guys can completely disagree, but the credit goes on to George Karl. Same thing with Nik Stauskas. I think with Nik Stauskas... Nik Stauskas. His shooting got better mainly because of the way that he was playing. Not the fact that it was going up and down, but the fact that he literally just stood on one side of the court. He stood on one side of the court while Cousins had the ball in the paint, and he would throw it to him, and he'd shoot it, and he'd make it. His three-point shooting went up towards the end of the season under George Karl. And when James Ham even came on the show, and he was like, George Karl secretly using Nik Stauskas a little more here, a little more there. I think I'm not sold on, or I haven't sold all my stock on Nik Stauskas. Okay, I still think he could be a nice player, especially if he gets that confidence up. I think he just needs that confidence booster, and I think going through 3 coaches in one season doesn't help out a rookie at all. So don't get me wrong when I'm saying I see Nik Stauskas in a trade. My thing is it, do you give credit to Andre Miller or George Karl? You give it to George Karl. Andre Miller, yeah, he's the lead. He's the veteran leadership that they needed. He was the one moving the ball around, but it came off of the fact that it was in George Karl's system, and Andre Miller knew how to run his system correctly. So I give the credit 100%. Nah, you know what? I won't be that mean. I'll go 98% to George Karl, 2% to Andre Miller.
Well, Andre Miller was definitely just an on-court coach.
And it's awesome to have that, and the Kings need that, and I hope they retain him, but overall,
Yeah.
All right, Jasmine has another question here, and it's gonna lead us on to another thing that we're going to be bringing back to the Kings court, so you'll see after this question.
I would like to add one more thing about the whole
Sauce
Castillo.
Nik Stauskas.
Nik Stauskas. What about the hot sauce? I thought the hot sauce helped a little bit. Okay, moving on.
Andre Iggy versus Justice Winslow. Do you find them similar? Do you think Winslow has a better 3 than Iggy? See, so with this question, it's a versus question, and I don't know if you guys remember, but I did have a co-host before. His name was Ryan Hernandez, and we actually did a versus segment, Mike Bibby versus Jason Williams. It was a fun segment. It got a lot of likes. It got a lot of you guys talking on who you think the better point guard was. And maybe we'll bring that same question back later on when we do this segment again, but we will be bringing back the versus segment to the Kings Court. So, I don't know. This isn't going to be the start of it. I'm not going to start it with the Andre Iggy versus Justice Winslow. I kind of want to do it with player versus player, and then maybe we'll work from there. But, Marley, I'm going to ask this to you. Andre Iggy versus Justice Winslow, do you find their games similar, and do you think Winslow has a better 3 than Andre Iguodala, who was just recently named the Finals MVP? I know you said you haven't watched a lot of videos, so I know this could be kind of hard for you, but let me know what you think.
Like, I haven't watched much of Duke at all this year. Justice Winslow plays for Duke, right?
Yes.
Okay, well, I got that right. But from what I've seen from some of the B-roll that I used to edit this podcast with, like, I think Justice Winslow, like, his game looks kind of similar to Andre Iguodala, but, like, well, shoot. Like, I don't know. I guess I could see them being similar.
My thing is the question. I see where he's saying the comparisons. It's a player that can defend and shoot the 3, and you're asking, does Winslow have a better 3? I don't think I can judge that until he gets to an NBA 3, because Jimmer can shoot, but did he really shoot that well at the NBA level when he came up? Do you really see that there? I mean, same thing, Nik Stauskas, a shooter, and he kind of struggled until he found himself in the George Karl offense. So I really don't want to say he has a better 3 than Iguodala until I see him shoot an NBA 3. So I'm not going to really answer that question. But as for versus, I see where you can get that comparison, the Andre Iguodala, because, I mean, they're crafty in getting into the lane. They can finish around the basket, and they can hit the 3. And defensively, you know, Justice Winslow has that defensive-ready body, and I really don't understand why he's not more in the conversation for the Kings at 6. But that's just a side little tangent I'm not even going to go on. But as a similarities, I do see it. I'm not going to say he has a better 3 until I see him at the NBA level. So there's that. As we move
I think
on,
that's fair, actually.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and move on to the next question here. It comes from JGut378. It says, are the Kings serious about Payne at 6? Why would they bring him in for a workout? I can tell you right now the Kings are 100% interested and serious about Payne at 6. Because either the comment of the backup point guard position is up in the air is 100% real, and it was a complete shot at Ray McCallum for the backup point guard spot. They also want to look at every point guard possible, and this is why they brought him in, is because they've already passed up on a Damian Lillard. They've passed up on a Elfrid Payton. You know, so they've passed up on point guards that could be complete game changers right now for this Kings team. And I'm going to say Elfrid Payton on the Kings would be a game changer because distributor and defender.
He would have been a complete game changer. We probably would have been 5 games over 500 if the Kings drafted him and didn't draft shooting. I think
go that high only because
I think
Malone,
5 games over 500 wouldn't be that high, to be honest.
5 games over 500 was under George Karl or in general, because they were 29. They only won 29 games, so they would have to.
Well, I'm saying if we drafted Elfrid Payton, Michael Malone probably would have gotten fired because I don't think we would have gone on that losing streak, to be honest.
I don't know, because they really wanted to get rid of Michael Malone.
Well, the only reason why they got rid of they got rid of Michael Malone is because we went on that losing streak. If we were in a winning streak and they fired him, that would have made it like
okay. To rebuttal that, Michael Malone was on a losing streak without DeMarcus Cousins in the roster. So that firing, although it wasn't shocking, James Ham came on this show. It wasn't shocking, it was shocking when it happened, but no one was completely surprised by it. So, because the Kings were over 500, DeMarcus Cousins goes down with viral meningitis or whatever he had. He got really, really sick. He missed, I think, 9 games. They were on a losing streak. Yes, they fired him. But that was just, I think, the reason to fire him is because, you know what? You were on a losing streak. We're going to move forward to now Tyrone Corbin and the Jazz Band. So,
but if they're on a winning streak, I don't really see his job being in jeopardy. Well, his job was always going to be in jeopardy.
Cousins regardless got sick.
Yeah.
So that's what you have to factor in, is Cousins was sick. That's the only reason why they started losing games, in my opinion. Their system was going good. Everything was meshing completely well. Cousins got sick. They go on a losing streak. That was their time. That was their opportunity to say, all right, Malone, bye. We don't want you here anymore.
But also, we should also mention that Michael Malone's job was also in jeopardy from the day he was hired by Vivek Ranadive.
I wouldn't say that. He hired him first.
You don't an owner should never hire a coach first before a GM.
I think that's ridiculous. Wow.
Well, that's just, but that brings in the philosophical differences, because that's like D'Alessandro was probably not like sitting well with Michael Malone just because like he didn't get to have his guy, but like we said in the earlier in the podcast, I don't know. The whole thing with the front office, Sacramento Kings front office, is just a mess right now. Even without Michael Malone or Pete D'Alessandro, it's such a mess right now. With GM,
exactly.
Vlade Divac not being a GM but being president of basketball operations. Mike Bratz with an interim GM position, whether he's going to be a GM or not. It's a complete mess.
Yeah. My only counter to what you're saying, because I know what you're saying, the front office is crazy, is Pete D'Alessandro and Mike are now back in Denver. You know what I mean? And now Malone is talking about pace. Now Malone is talking about everything that they were philosophically different about before. So it's very strange. That's what I'm saying. The Michael Malone, Pete D'Alessandro, the front office now in Denver, everything is a podcast on itself, and that's not what we're talking about today. All I'm saying is I think something was going on to where someone didn't like someone, because that's real. Someone didn't like someone. Malone was on the chopping block coming into year 2. He was gone regardless. Cousins got injured, and then they went on the losing streak. That was their opportunity to say, yep, we're ready. You're done.
Okay. First of all, what was the original question for this? Because I think we veered way off from that topic.
Payne at 6, I believe, was the question.
Okay.
How serious are the Kings at Payne? And like I said, it's 100%. They're 100% willing to look at him, and they're going to look at every point guard because they don't want to get rid of, a Damian Lillard or a Elfrid Payton slipping through. And then we kind of went on a little bit of a tangent, and we shouldn't have on, the Denver, which this probably could just be more of us just ranting on it, because that's how big of a situation this is, though, is that whole thing.
I think that's a weird question, how serious is a team for bringing in a player for a workout? Of course they're going to be serious about a player if you're going to bring
I think what he means is
in for a workout.
I think what he's saying is because Payne is either his lottery stock is either at the very end of the lottery or at pick 10. No one really sees him projected at 6. And then same thing with Sam Decker, who just came in, I believe, yesterday or today, and it's Sam Decker's looking at either, again, mid to late lottery, maybe even out of the lottery in the late first round. But my counter to all of that, and I know what you're saying, is, of course they're looking at these players because what if they make a trade for a later player? What if they swap picks? They don't want to pass up on a player like Cameron Payne, who he reminds me kind of like a Monte Ellis, where he interrupts passes. But unlike Monte, he's a great passer. And he can score the ball. So they're like, okay, I see that. He came from a small school. Could he be this year's Damian Lillard? Because they passed up on Lillard before. They don't want that to happen. So I think it's different.
What would happen? The reason why they brought Cameron Payne in for a workout is because I know Emmanuel Mudiay's stock is dropping apparently to James Ham, from what James Ham says. But if Emmanuel Mudiay gets drafted at 4 or 5, which I don't think is probably going to happen, then the Kings have a backup at 6. If they don't want to draft Willie Cauley-Stein, they can draft Cameron Payne, and he's a pretty good alternative to Emmanuel Mudiay. Not as good as as Emmanuel Mudiay, but like if they want to draft at the point guard position, there's Cameron Payne. So I think I can totally see that happening.
All right, as we move on to the next question here, again from JGut378. His question is: now that Ilyasova got traded, because he did ask previously on our previous show with Tony about Ilyasova getting traded, what do you think of the Kings trying to acquire Ryan Anderson, the Sacramento kid? I would love it. I personally don't see it happening, but I would love it.
I've been a huge advocate for Ryan Anderson, like since day one, since I've seen him play. Plus, I think it would be such a great story for him to come back to Sacramento. But right now, he's playing for New Orleans right now, right?
Yeah.
He's a Pelican. I've seen, when I saw him play for the Pelicans, like that team totally has their hands around freaking Ryan Anderson. Like he's not going anywhere anytime soon.
Even through all the injuries, he's not gonna get. They're not gonna let him go.
Yeah.
He stretches that floor for Anthony Davis, and he's just a great shooter. But I have a funny story about Ryan Anderson. So it was his second year or his rookie season. I can't really remember. Me and my buddy went to a Kings game, and Ryan Anderson's there, and everyone's holding up their Ryan Anderson signs because at the end of the game he comes out. After he gets dressed and gets whatever, comes out, and there's all these people there, and you need to have a wristband so you can talk to him and stuff. It's basically just family and friends that he knew growing up. He got tickets for, right? And there's you have to have a couple of wristbands if you wanted to be their plus ones. Well, me and my friend stay there late in the game, and someone's like, "Hey, do you want these wristbands?" And they gave it to us. And we're like, we didn't know what the wristbands did, but we saw people with wristbands walking to the front of the court, so we got to be on the court with Ryan Anderson. But we didn't know. But here's the thing: I didn't know who Ryan Anderson was. I didn't know I just watched him play. I was like, he came off the bench. I'm like, who is this guy? But I've got to we got to take pictures. We got to meet Ryan. He kind of gives us that look too. Like, who the hell are these guys? Like, are you serious? These are people that I'm supposed to know. So
that's really funny.
That's my little story about Ryan Anderson.
I don't think I've ever met an NBA player face to face before, because I don't really count Jeff Foster. I remember I went to a Kings and Sonics game, and I was walking in through the arena door. And Jeff Foster was right next to me, just walking in to the arena with me at Arco. And I was just like, okay, yeah.
That's a player.
That's a player.
So
I wouldn't call him a player, but he's, yeah. But
just to throw one more story in there before just to throw one more story in there before we move on to our final question. Last night, my buddy, he messages me, because he works at a casino out here, and
Red Hawk.
No, he works at Thunder, and sure enough, he messages me. He's like, "Hey man, you should have came up here with me. Guess who's at my table? Who was at my table just a few minutes ago?" I was like, "Who?" He's like, "Bobby Jackson." So he was playing cards with Bobby Jackson. He's got to play cards with Carl Landry up there at Thunder before. So Carl Landry's everywhere. I even have a story about Carl Landry last show. Go watch it. So nice thanks. Last question comes from OneKing909. It says, would it be better to build through the draft or through free agency? And this is a question that's going to get a lot of buzz because I don't know which way you're going to go, but I kind of have a feeling I know which way I'm going to go. So Marley, go first.
Well, I think right now he's asking. I think right now you definitely build through free agency and trades. Just because, I think the Kings, we're kind of stacked at positions, or we used to be, but it seems like whenever we draft, we always stack at certain positions and just get tons of talent, and then that talent gets a little bit wasted from time to time. We had Thomas Robinson, Jimmer Fredette, DeMarcus Cousins to an extent, because I think DeMarcus Cousins' ceiling is he can still go a little bit higher.
Oh, he knows he can. He knows he can.
Yeah.
I haven't even peaked at my ceiling yet.
Yeah, Ray McCallum, and there's tons of players, and I think what this team really truly needs is just veteran leadership and just a player that's been here, not necessarily like be on veteran status, but just a player that's been in the league and can show, like these new players
like
that we
Wes
have,
Matthews.
like the ropes.
Like Wes Matthews, playoff experience.
Wesley Matthews would
Lou
be
Williams.
perfect.
Lou
Williams. I really like Lou Williams. I think
something like that.
if we pick up Lou Williams, I would be stoked.
Okay, so how I'm going to answer this question is kind of with, this is my mindset of how you're asking me, is it's right now, and free agency means you're only picking up players. Free agency doesn't necessarily mean trade, so I'm just going to say you want to go sign players. For the situation that the Kings are in, I'm going towards you have to build through the draft. Because I'm not saying, because off-season and free agency to me is going to sign Wes Matthews, going to sign Lou Williams. Off-season is, and I mean it's in there with it, but I'm just saying off-season is off-season trades, off-season movements, like stuff like that. So from your question how I'm taking it in that context, I'm going to say they have to build through the draft. But that is a great question that I want everyone to go and answer in the comment section below, as that is now how we are going to round out this show. Again, guys, you guys see every one of our Twitter handles. You see Josh Means down there, writer for SatKingsNation.com. Marley Silverbrand, the video editor. Give him some love, man, because that intro, not only is it from DLX Revolution, he put in all those Mike Bibby shots, the DeMarcus Cousins dunk on Jay Crowder, the Kevin Martin make for the win, everything like that. That's all Marley. Marley's made all these graphics, man. You really make this show a lot better than what it always is, and we're going to keep trying to improve this content. So go follow him at msilverbrand. You see it right there. Follow me on Twitter at VMCenter. Get all your questions in kingscourtpodcast@gmail.com, or tweet your questions to us as well. Show is sponsored by Brickhouse Industries, brickhouseindustries.com, and the Quality Shop located in downtown Roseville. Marley, do you have any final thoughts?
Actually, I have a few more final thoughts. I actually just looked at my schedule while doing the schedule for my job, and I actually have Thursday off.
Uh-oh.
So I might actually be.
You're going to see us at the draft.
I might actually be down there. Not guaranteed, but I might. So
we'll guarantee this. I will be there.
Okay. But where's that at again? Just so you can plug it.
Firestone, or Firehouse, it's Firehouse located in downtown Sacramento. It was there last year. I saw fans there last year, and now that the show is a little bit bigger, definitely look for me there. I will answer any quick questions, and I want to try and get as many people to get on the camera and just see who they're going to draft, because I want to get you guys on the show as much as possible as well. The show only needs 5 more subscribers to get to 100. If the show gets to 100 subscribers by the time the next show happens, I will give away a free T-shirt on the show. So that's my little plug for that. All right, guys. Okay. So that is our show. Again, follow all of us.
Would you say you would give away a T-shirt if you say something on video?
Every person that says something on video, their name will be put in the raffle.
Yeah.
And then I will choose the name from there. That's how we'll do it.
Yeah.
So I'll put more of the rules up maybe on that next video I do on Wednesday. But if you get on the video and you're like, hey Vince, let me get on your video so I can be in your raffle, and all you gotta say is, hey, I'm this. You listen to the Kings Court, and I choose blank. I choose that player that the Kings are gonna draft. Your name will be put, even if you're right or wrong, it doesn't matter. You do that, your name goes into a raffle. We pull your name, you get a free T-shirt. That's how we'll do it. Again, guys, show sponsored by the Quality Shop located in downtown Roseville. Brickhouse Industries. Go to brickhouseindustries.com. Use the promo code KingsCourt. Get a discount on us. Follow all of us on Twitter. Click on that Patreon campaign. We need you guys' support and help. And until next time, Sacramento Kings fans, bye-bye.